Hi there, my stamping friends. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to make this, I'm going to call it a diamond window card because things look like diamond. They're on a diamond. So we're going to make this diamond window card using the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set right here. There you go. And we're also going to use our embossing folder Winter Snow. So hopefully you'll also learn some tips and tricks along the way. So let's do some stamping. Before I get into that, I want to do some housekeeping. As always, I am Rosellen Eastman from My Stamping Friends, and I'm going to talk about a lot of products today. You can find them all on my website, mentioned right here on the screen and in the description below the video. And as a reminder, if you place an order of $35 or more with me, then you're going to get a link to this month's free tutorial bundle as a thank you. As always, comment and you'll get a chance to win the giveaway for tonight, which is going to be the card that I'm making. And then if you tag a crafty friend or share my video, then you will also get entered into the monthly prize. So that is actually, we're almost at the end of August, so that is coming up. So make sure you tag and share and, you know, invite your friends, give me lots of likes. I've got a big head. I like compliments. No, I'm joking. Sort of, not really. Really, not really. Sorry, not sorry. What did my kids say? Anyway, so let's get to this diamond window card with the Gnome for the Holidays stamp set. And let's get to it. I started this card with, let's see, a Night of Navy card base. Here, let me get this out of the way. A Night of Navy card base. I hope that's not too zoomed in. Okay, sorry. Night of Navy card base, a Whisper White layer on the inside. The card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and once it's folded, it's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. And then the Whisper White card base, card insert, which is the same size we always do. Then on the front, we're going to have a Whisper White layer that's 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then a layer of Seaside Spray, which is this light blue here, and that's going to be 5 by 3 3/4, which just means it's going to be a 1/16 inch border around there. And then we've got some Whisper White squares here. Let's call them diamonds. We're just going to put them that way and call them diamonds. And these I cut out with my stitched shape squares, and it's the second smallest. So it's not the smallest, it's the second one up. So I think you call that the second smallest. But the squares actually turn out to be, let me think about this. They are 1 5/8, I believe. Yeah, 1 5/8. And then these are 1 3/4 inch Night of Navy squares that are going to go underneath them. And then for the inside of the card, I've got 2 pieces. I've got 1 Night of Navy and 1 Seaside Spray. And they are going to be 4 inches by 3/4 inch. So they are the same width there. And then for the front piece, for where you're going to write your little, or where you're going to stamp your little sentiment on the front, that is going to be the Night of Navy is 3/4 by 2.5, and the Seaside is 1/2 inch by 2.5. Right? Let me just, yeah, half an inch by 2.5. Okay, so this is going to be a really quick card, believe it or not. So let's put it together. I'm just going to grab something real quick. This is, just so I don't get my whole piece of grid paper dirty, I've just grabbed a piece of grid paper from my Stamparatus. So this way I'm just going to do a little bit of stamping on here. I am going to take my 3 stitched squares and I'm going to stamp them in Memento ink. Right? You see what happens? That was because I put lotion on my hands. I am going to stamp my 3 little gnomes in Memento ink. I think I said that Erin was watching, right? I think I did. So Erin, going to ask you a question. So, yeah, she is there. One of the reasons why I love these little gnomes, I have a fondness for gnomes, is because my father is an animator, and he drew the Gnome movie when I was little. I remember it was like, I was in early grade school when I dressed up as the gnome for Halloween, and I won a McDonald's gift coupon booklet, and I got like 50 cents off an ice cream, and that was, you know, I mean, the ice creams might have been a whole $1 back then. Okay, so this little girl, anyway, my question for Erin was, is it just the Gnome movie? What was it? Okay, back to the card. This little girl, I just stamped straight up and down. This guy, I stamped just a little bit on an angle, because straight up and down, and I think some of his head would have come off. So, oh, I thought I got it there. Just a little bit of an angle. Pop him off right there, and then this little snowman hat, snowflake hat elf, I did a little bit at an angle also. And get that off of there. Okay, perfect. So there's our 3 gnomes. I'm just going to move those guys out of the way. Hey, Jackie, and yes, Samantha, thanks for joining. Christmas cards already, because by the time people order their products, get them in, make their cards, yeah, it's time to send out Christmas cards already. So yes, Christmas already, darling. All right, I'm going to set those to the side. And what I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment next. So these 2 pieces are going to go right like this. And I'm going to take a little Christmas wish, and I'm going to stamp it in the dark night of navy. Let's see. Right up there. Hey, I see that Cindy has joined. Alex! Wow, long time no hear. I hope you're doing well, sweetie. Let's see. Jackie, Jared, Sam, I see you. I guess that means Tim is watching. Karen, Amelia, wow, I've got a lot of friends here today. Thanks. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to stamp it on the Seaside piece, and I don't want to get too close to that edge or that edge. Just kind of want to do it in the center. Hope I'm not getting my hair in the shot right there. Now remember, if I mess up, I can just flip it over. It's a little high. I don't dislike it, but I'm going to try it again because I got 2 sides. So let's see, we'll put that straight on there. I'm going to lean over a little bit. Yeah, I like that a little better. So let me move that guy out of the way. And what I'm going to do with this is, I do have a punch that will punch out a little notch there, but it's not that width, it's wider than that, so I'd have to hold it still. I'm just going to show you guys a little trick. If you want to, you can just snip like this, but I end up always being off. So I just go straight up the center to where I want my little notch to stop. Now I can see where that is. I don't know if you guys can see it. Then I'm just going to start at this end and work my way up to that corner. These snips are very sharp. They are sharp all the way to the edge. So wherever you stop cutting, when you close the scissors completely, that's where the snipping stops. So right up to the edge, okay? And what I'm going to do is attach that with my Stampin' Seal Plus. I'm going to... Oh my gosh, Alex, I can't even believe that. It blows my mind that you're here. I am so happy to see you. So when Alex was way back in middle school, when you're doing this, just make sure that your words don't go off the edge. When Alex was way back in middle school, I taught a scrapbooking club at her middle school, at my daughter's middle school. So Alex was part of that club. All right, so now I've just trimmed up to the center again, and I'm going to start at the edge and snip up to the center. And this I'm just going to get from this edge again. There we go. All right, now what I'm going to do is just trim off the end here. Now what I'm going to flip it over so I know exactly where I'm going here. And drop that in the trash. All right, the next thing I'm going to stamp is, I didn't show you the inside yet. So Holly Jolly Everything. Okay. I'm not going to stamp that just yet because I want to get the snowflakes on there first. So I'm going to just push that out of the way. All right, now this was the piece of Seaside Spray that I ran through my embossing folder. Do you see the snowflakes on there? I hope. And I am going to grab my dauber that I had right here. Excuse my reach while I grab that. Here we go. So these are one of our finger daubers. Oh, before I lose you, I just got a note on my telephone. Hold on. I'm going to try not to move the camera, but I got to plug my phone in. I thought I had done that already. Sorry for the bouncing, everybody. There we go. Everybody's still here. Okay, looks like you're all still here. All right, so what I'm going to do with this one is just, I want to make these little snowflakes pop a little bit, just so you can see them a little better. I'm going to get my Seaside Spray ink pad. Open that up. Just a little bit of my finger dauber. These come, I think, 5 in a pack, if I remember correctly. And all I'm going to do is tap, tap, tap. You don't have to put your finger in there. You can hold it like this, pick it up, tap, tap, tap. And just really gently, do you see how that kind of made the snowflake a little bit, give it a little bit more depth? And all I did was go around in a circle. If you wanted to, you could tap, 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 make that work. But I find it just a little quicker to go around in a circle. And you don't want too much ink. Now remember, if you do too much ink, you can just move your little gnomes around and attach them wherever you'd like them. So if you find something that you're not happy with, you can cover it up. Happy little accident. Alex, have you been doing any crafting since that Kilmer Scrapbook Club? That was a few years ago. I miss it. I was actually thinking about it the other day because I pulled out some of the pages that we did. That was a lot of fun. All right, so I am just swirling around here just to get a little more depth. And you're going to want to make sure you get the ones on the edges because that's really what you're going to see around the edges. The ones in the center are going to be a little covered up by your little gnomes there. There we go. You guys are a quiet bunch today. What have you all been up to? If you're not doing anything right now, you can make sure that you are, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And if you're getting anything out of this on Facebook, then what you can do is subscribe to my page and turn on the notifications. This way, you won't miss any of the cards when I go live next time. All right, I'm going to just get, this is the little piece we're going to have on the inside, and I'm going to just swirl around on that too. Playing with our new cat. Oh my goodness. You know I have to see pictures of that. I expect them on Facebook. I know Richard will put some up. Does he sleep as much as Atticus? Does he play as much as Atticus? There we go. All right, so I got those two. It popped up the little snowflakes on there. I'm just going to close this up. No ink on my fingers yet, I hope. Hey, Betty, thanks for joining. Oh, Alex, that sounds like a great idea to do watercolors on there. I've done a couple of watercolors on here as well. I hope you send me some pictures of them. Post them on my page. Show me what you've done. Okay, so this right now is done, and you can actually attach it to the Whisper White piece. Of the two pieces, it's the smaller one, okay? So we're just going to get our seal. And now remember, if you can't do that, what I'm going to do right here is just grab another piece, because sometimes it's hard to see on the grid paper. So I'm just going to do that. And if you're not very good about lining this up, this is only a 1/16 of a rim around there. Just take I'm going to use my, my pick a tool, and I'm just putting it on a little bit of the adhesive there, and then just kind of line it up. You don't have to put it all the way down. It's still movable around. Once you get it in the right spot, then you can hold it down. Okay, and then you've got your border just perfect. I mean, this tool for, I think it was $10. This is so worth it. And I'm going to show you what we're using the other end for. And don't forget that this comes off, and you can put that back in. Then you've got a poker on one side. And this, as you spin in here, there is more of this putty. And I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you that in a little bit. All right, so that we can set aside, and we've got that piece. So the next thing we can do is put the inside together. So that's our inside piece. And we are going to attach these two together. Okay, let me remind you what the inside looks like. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of the Seaside Spray piece. And now I'm going to move the blue so you can see it again. And all I'm going to do is just, I'm going to line it up in here. I want it to be even, so if you have a problem maybe lining it up just using your eyes, then what you can do is, see, I've used 1/4 of an inch down here, just kind of lay that down, hold it in place. That's one box is 1/4 of an inch. And then you can, when you hold the bottom down, you can kind of manipulate the top until that's also at 1/4 of an inch, and just slide it down. Okay, now I can see that this edge doesn't 100% line up. And that's okay, because what I'm going to do is once I put it on here, I'm going to trim it anyway, okay? So, doesn't matter which direction this goes in because you haven't stamped yet, so that's fine. But what I'm going to do is just lay this down sort of where I want it to go. And for me, the way I'm going to do it is I want it to have, you can put this wherever you want it to be, but since this is 1/4 inch border, I'm going to want white of 1/4 inch right over there as well. So once I put it down, it's going to end up looking like that. Now that I know that that's in place, I'm going to open up my Night of Navy ink pad. Isn't that tool fantastic, Michelle? I mean, just so many things. All right, Holly Jolly Everything is right on there. Let me use it on a little piece of scrap paper first. Put that right about there. Holly Jolly Everything. And right about there looks good. Doesn't have to be perfect because you can always cover it up, flip it over, whichever you'd prefer. Or just leave it if it's, you know, maybe you wanted it to be on an angle. Nobody knows. All right. Alrighty. So now back to our 1/4 inch, which is just the one box, remember? Whoop, got it backwards. So again, I'm going to start at the bottom at the 1/4 inch mark, and I'm going to just hold it up to the top at the 1/4 inch mark. Now you see what I mean? Press it down, flip it over, and just trim off the little bits on each end. There we go. If that doesn't bother you, then leave it there because nobody will really see it because it's bumped up against the dark blue Night of Navy cardstock. Okay, so now that this piece is together, we can put it on the inside of our card. I'm just going to close that up. All right. Again, if you want to use your tool, what I do is I just put the spatula end on the back of the adhesive and lay it down on here, wherever you want it to be. And right about there looks good. Just pull out my tool. There you go. All right. And now we're getting ready to color the front. All right, back with that. Flip it over so you guys don't hurt your eyes there. And what I did for this one, because I wanted to have this Seaside Spray kind of pop, but I didn't want to color, you know, the Christmas tree green and all the other colors that would go on a Christmas tree. I just, let's see, I just did that. Squished it together to make a little paint palette up there. And for this one, I'm going to use my blender pens. Hey, Laura, how are you? Hope you're having a good day. So these blender pens are 2 tips. They're the same size. It's not like our Stampin' blends. There's no color on here. You can see a little color, but that's just because I've picked up color, and it will run clear when you're done with it. You can see the side I used. Sometimes they'll turn red or green, whichever your ink you're using. They just stain it. But these have a kind of a plastic piece in the center of the barrel. So, and they're filled with glycerin, a glycerin product on both sides. So if they dry out on one side, it doesn't mean necessarily the other side is dried out. Or if it's used up on one side, doesn't necessarily mean it. Okay. So you can see that nothing is coming out of this right now, but I can tell that they have glycerin on them. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this ink right here, and I am going to color in his hat. And these are interesting because the more you pick up, it's going to be mostly full of color in the beginning, and then as you use it, the color's leaking off of here and onto your paper. So by the time you're done coloring, there's going to be no more ink. I'm just going to color his little sleeves right there. What else? I think that's probably good for him. And then for this gentleman over here, I'm going to color his hat. So I guess you guys are probably wondering the difference between when I show you guys like blender pens, aqua painters, water painters that they're called now, these blender pens, our markers, which are really very vibrant colored. So maybe I should do a quick little video of all the differences of why what they're good for, what you should use them for. I used Memento ink. I think I mentioned that before, but I can use that to color this in. I just want to make sure it's good and dry by the time I go to color. Okay. All right, and this little girl. So I'm going to color her dress blue. I'm going to leave her apron white. And I colored, you can't really see it, but I colored all the little balls on the Christmas tree this Seaside blue. Now my daughter was looking at the card before and she said, well, maybe you can color it with that darker blue. So I could. Maybe I'll give it a try. I'll color some of them with a darker blue and show you guys what to do. So when I squeeze it like this to get my paint palette, I'm going from a lighter color to a darker color, so it doesn't really matter what, that I've got that on there. I'm just going to pick up this darker color, and I'm just going to color a couple of these. Actually, I'm going to color them all. I think it looks pretty good, actually. So thanks, Jordan. Let's see. All right, there we go. All right, now when I'm done with it, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go, how do I even describe this? I'm going to wipe the excess ink on this paper, but I am going to go in a zigzag motion, and I'm going to pull to keep that point sharp. I'm not going to go against the tip. I'm not going to push the tip. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll. Do you see that I'm rolling my hands as I'm doing this? So back and forth, and I go like that. And then there's nothing else coming out, so you can just pick up the next color. It could be a yellow if you want to. You want to use the lighter colors first and then move to the darker colors, but you don't have to, because once it runs clear, it runs clear. The next thing I'm going to do actually is pick up I'm going to make it a little bit different than this. I'm going to pick up my sponge. We have these sponges. They're about, well, that big. And I just took about 1/4 of the sponge, but I really only need about 1/8. So I just cut a piece off. I'm going to hold it on this end, pick up scribble is a good way to describe it. I'm just going to pick up a little bit, tap, tap, tap. Can you see what I'm doing? Tap, tap, tap on here. And I am going to just sponge the outside of these. The light blue, the Seaside that I'm doing, is really going to pop against the background, which is the Night of Navy. But it's not going to be too much white straight to dark blue. There we go. And I'm just holding the paper so it's kind of stiff. I'm actually pushing down a little bit to give it a little bit of a bend. Who here has sponged before? Laura Bean, you better raise your hand. I know you have. Jan, have you sponged before? Michelle probably has. Let's see who else has. I'm sure if Samantha is still on, she has sponged before because I have put that child to work. Okay, so I just sponged the outsides and I'm going to attach them to the 3 squares that I cut out. Now again, you can use your Picket tool if you want to. I'm just going to do it myself because I've gotten pretty good at putting things centered, but I like to show you guys what these tools can do. So once we attach these 3, so Michelle, having a heavy hand when you are doing it, you can certainly try on a piece of scrap paper, but the best thing to do is just only put a little bit on. And if you get too much ink on there, then you can certainly wipe some of it off. So I think you should just give it a try. Nothing to be afraid of on that one. There you go. Okay, so those are all stuck together. Now what I'm going to do is attach our front layer onto the card. What am I doing on time? About a half an hour. Now this one I'm gonna, sometimes I open it up to lay it on. Now remember, this one just has a 1/16 inch white border around there. Okay. And I'm going to just kind of, where do I want these guys to go? If you wanted to, by the way, you could stamp that up and down and make the card go up and down like that. But I've already stamped the inside. You could do it like that. I've already stamped the inside of the card, so I'm going to leave mine opening in this direction. Okay. I think that's about right. Okie dokie. So let's see. Oh, hey, Danette, how are you? I am going to do these 2 first. So, first guy first. We'll put him up in this corner. We just want to make sure he's not sticking off the top or the left side. Just move her out of the way so she doesn't get stuck. Right about. That looks good to me. Now with this one, I'm going to put him on next, because if I put her down and then I don't have him in the right spot, I won't be happy. So I'm just going to try and line that point up and make sure that if this is going over, you know, 1/8 of an inch or so, that I want that going over 1/8 of an inch. Just want to make sure they are kind of even. Let's scoot that over just a little bit. There we go. Hey Dorothy, how are you? Thanks for logging in and watching. Let's see, did I miss anybody? I guess not. Did I get Cindy? Yep, sometimes there's a little color, you're right. Okay. I think I welcomed everybody. Make sure that you write a little note on there, either answer a question or ask a question, or you know, just say hi. Tell me where you're from, what you did today. That will give me an idea. Not an idea, it will give me the names to pull from. Okay, now I haven't pressed that one down yet. I just laid it there because I want to make sure that this, I can put this somewhere and it'll fit. Okay, so I might move her down a little bit and put that up there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move her down a little bit. So I want her, the bottom of this point sticking off the same amount those points are. And just make sure that is even. And then for my little sentiment, I am going to put some dimensionals on the back. 1, 2, 3. You guys would not believe the amount of little dimensional papers that miss the trash can. And then my dog comes down here and she'll come back upstairs and she's got like a dimensional paper stuck to her nose. All right, so this, I am just going to make sure, the two things I'm making sure is I don't cover up this girl and that I don't go off the edge of the paper. So I'm just going to lay it down there. There we go. Now to finish this off, two things I'm going to do. Now don't laugh at me. These are some flowers for every season gems. Oh, see? Christmas cheer. I could. All right, so let's see. I'm going to show you. I hope you can see these. There are clear and green of these little gems. And they look like clear. The clear ones look like little drops of water. There are two sizes of the clear and there are two sizes of the green. And the green ones, let me pick one up and show you. Green ones are actually faceted. So they look like, you know, like diamonds. And the clear ones look like a little drop of water. So what I did was I just picked one that was clear. Let me put them back in here for you. I took a little tiny dot of my Tombow liquid glue. And on this one, I put it towards the end, but there's not enough room there. So I think this time I'll just put it right there on that blue. Right there. So now I'm just going to pick one up with my pick a tool. This is the little bit of putty that's in there. And I'm just going to pick one up. Right? I'm going to pick it up from the rounded side so that that side is down. And I'm just going to put it right there on that glue dot. Now it's going to look a little cloudy at first, but that's because the glue is white until it dries. Now you can see that that one dried completely clear and that one's just a little cloudy still. That's how you'll know when the glue is dry. After doing that, I am going to get my Wink of Stella. Let me make sure I shake it up really well. Off screen, the Wink of Stella. That's what I'm getting right there. And I am just going to get a little bit of Wink of Stella and maybe put it on her little, the little decorations on her Christmas tree hat here. That's a lot of ink on there coming out. Ooh. I shook that one pretty hard. And this one's going to get a little bit on his bow. And this one's going to get a little bit on the silver bell hanging from his hat. Okay. How fun is that? And I'm just going to pop that back on. And the card is complete. Uh-oh, I got a little sprinkle on there. Well, I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to cover that guy up too. Must have been when I pulled the cap off. Okay, so now our card is complete. So holly jolly everything on the inside and 3 little gnomes on the outside. I just think he is the cutest thing. So if you got any benefit out of this, make sure you hit subscribe and make sure that you hit notifications also so that you know when I either go live or when I post another video. And if you share it or give me a thumbs up, I always love that. I really appreciate it. That gets you into the drawing. So for tonight, if you've left a comment, you're going to get this card. You're going to get a chance at this card. And if you share it, I'm going to put you into the monthly drawing. I always try and answer questions at the end. So let's see, what questions did I get here? Thanks so much, Cindy and Erin and Jeanne. I appreciate that. I'm so really honored that you would spend a half an hour with me on a Sunday night or a Wednesday night. Because, you know, there's so many other things you could be doing, but I appreciate that you're spending time with me. Is there a refill for Wink of Stella? No, there's not a refill per se, but they are, I think they're $5. And what you can do, I have found, is that when you, here, let me see. I don't want to get any more sprinkles on there in case I did do that. This unscrews. You know what I'm going to do? I'll show you real quick. This unscrews. So you can pop that off, and if you put in a little bit of alcohol, rubbing alcohol, when this gets empty, and you know, sometimes maybe some sticks to the inside of this barrel, or gets up here, a little bit of rubbing alcohol will make this go another little while longer. It's not going to be as thick or as glittery, but it's going to last you a little while longer. So that's always an option. But personally, I just buy a new one because they're really actually pretty inexpensive. Elves this season are so totally in, Laura. I agree. I agree. Or that stick to you. Yes, he would have some cheer if he put a little... I could actually do the little pink noses on there, and I might do that on mine. If, once I call the winner, if you guys want, whoever wins, if you guys want me to put in the little pink noses with my blender pens, then I can do that too. Hey Dorothy, thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. All right, let's see. Practice on scrap. That's always a good idea. I do that all the time. Not even joking. He can't really be too heavy, and it was sponging. All right, sponging. You guys have definitely sponged before. All right, and let's, oh, new comment. Awesome, thanks. Great tip. Oh, with the alcohol to put that in there. Yeah, it's actually a pretty neat idea, and it makes it go a little further. Like I said, it's not as glittery, so and the alcohol makes it dry fast. So when you're painting with it, you don't have to worry about like letting it sit there. So I will call a winner for our card for tonight. Oh, I missed one. Look at that. I'll fix that one too. I will call a winner for our card tonight that we made called the Diamond Window Card using Gnome for the holidays and the Winter Snow, I think. Let me see what that is. Did I pull it out? No, not that one. I think it's the Winter Snow. Embossing folder here and some sponging. So thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope you are staying healthy, and make sure you stay stamping. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.